Dodgers fans recently endured a heartbreaking game as the team fell 6-5 to the Braves on a walk-off in the ninth inning. The loss was even more frustrating because the Dodgers had several opportunities to take control of the game and even escaped an extremely dangerous situation in the eighth inning. With the score tied 5-5, the Braves loaded the bases with only one out. Mauricio Dubin then hit a ball towards shortstop. Mookie Betts was unable to handle it cleanly, but the ball deflected perfectly towards second base, where Tommy Edman was waiting. Edman quickly secured the ball and threw to first base to complete the double play. A situation that looked capable of producing the winning run for Atlanta instead ended favorably for the Dodgers, keeping the game tied. However, the opportunity created by the defense ultimately went to waste. In the ninth inning, Tanner Scott was sent to the mound with the task of keeping the score tied and sending the game to extra innings. Scott started well by quickly recording 2 outs, but the Braves then produced a double. With the situation becoming dangerous, the Dodgers chose to issue an intentional walk, putting runners on first and second before Ha-Seong Kim stepped into the batter's box. Although Kim did not enter the game with impressive offensive numbers, he became the player who decided the outcome. He lined a hit into left field, bringing the Braves runner home and immediately ending the game. The Dodgers had to accept a 6-5 walk-off loss, while Tanner Scott once again became the pitcher who allowed the deciding run at the most critical moment. After such a dramatic victory over the Dodgers, the Braves could have simply celebrated an important result. However, attention after the game quickly shifted toward manager Walt Weiss because of actions that were described as unsportsmanlike and directed at Shohei Ohtani. Some video from the dugout area, along with reports surrounding the incident, suggested that Weiss had a tense and provocative conversation with several Braves bench players. The content of the conversation even raised suspicions that he may have encouraged players to be more aggressive and physical in the next matchup. What made the situation serious was not limited to a few mocking remarks. According to descriptions of the footage, Weiss also made sarcastic gestures while referring to Ohtani. That was why the incident could not simply be dismissed as a brief emotional reaction after the game. If a manager truly encourages retaliatory or dirty play, his responsibility is far greater than that of a player who loses his temper for a few seconds. A manager is responsible for controlling the clubhouse and ensuring that competition does not cross the line into unsafe behavior. With Ohtani, the issue is even more sensitive because he is one of the players who receives the most attention from opponents whenever he steps into the batter's box. Pitchers are fully entitled to use inside fastballs to prevent him from getting too comfortable at the plate or to build pitch sequences designed to limit hard contact. But if that strategy turns into intentionally throwing at the head, hands, or knees, or creating unnecessary collisions on the base paths, that becomes a completely different issue. An injury to Ohtani could also have particularly serious consequences for the Dodgers. In his latest press conference, Ohtani said, "I cannot stay silent in the face of inappropriate behavior like this. We are representing a sport with a tradition and a culture of fair competition. This is not just about me, but about how baseball should be played." The statement was notable because Ohtani was not speaking only about his personal interests. He placed the incident within the broader context of the entire league. In baseball, trash talk, reactions after a home run, and even arguments between dugouts can all become part of the game. But when competition begins to show signs of inciting violence or encouraging players to intentionally target an opponent's body, the league has to intervene because the risk of retaliation can escalate very quickly. After receiving the information, MLB confirmed that it was reviewing all related material. Video from the dugout, audio from the technical area, umpire reports, and testimony from people who were present could all become important evidence. If investigators confirm that there was encouragement of dirty play or a violation of sportsmanship standards, the Braves manager could face significant punishment, including a suspension from managing future games. Beyond the final result, the Dodgers also had another concern when Roki Sasaki was forced to leave the mound early. Sasaki started the game, but had to stop in the fourth inning because of a blister on the middle finger of his right hand. He finished the outing having allowed 4 runs, forcing the bullpen to enter earlier than expected. With the Dodgers needing stability from their rotation, Sasaki's condition will certainly be monitored closely. Even an injury that is not considered serious can affect pitching plans during the final stretch of the regular season. Meanwhile, Ohtani had a relatively productive game. He was unsuccessful in his first two plate appearances against starter Smith Shawver. But in the fourth inning, Ohtani made a difference. With a runner on first and 2 outs, he handled a difficult splitter outside the strike zone and produced a single. The hit also extended Ohtani's on-base streak to 13 consecutive games. Immediately afterward, he continued to apply pressure with his speed by successfully stealing a base during Freddie Freeman's plate appearance. More notably, Ohtani is playing in the context of a left knee issue that previously forced the Dodgers to manage his workload carefully. Even so, speed continues to remain an important part of the Japanese superstar's game. Over his last 5 games, Ohtani has recorded 3 stolen bases, showing that he is still willing to take every opportunity to pressure opposing defenses. Combined with his 30 home runs this season, Ohtani officially reached the 30 home run, 10 stolen base mark. It is another example of his all-around value as a hitter, because Ohtani does not only provide power, but can also change the game with his base running. In the 7th inning, Ohtani once again showed his speed and awareness. He led off the inning with a double down the right field line. After passing first base, Ohtani briefly lost his balance and had to slow down, making it appear that he might be forced to stay at first. However, right fielder Ronald Acuña Jr. made a fake throwing motion, and Ohtani immediately recognized the opportunity. He accelerated again, raced towards second base, and completed the double. It was a clear example of Ohtani's ability to read situations on the base paths. He does not rely only on raw speed, but also reacts extremely quickly to even the smallest defensive mistake. That double then became the starting point of the Dodgers' comeback. Mookie Betts delivered an RBI hit to cut the deficit before Tommy Edman drew a bases-loaded walk to tie the game. However, the Dodgers were unable to turn that comeback into a victory. They missed several major opportunities in the late innings and eventually paid the price when Scott could not get through the 9th. This loss carried more significance than an ordinary defeat. The Dodgers still lead the National League West and own the second-best winning percentage in the National League, but the Braves are also leading the NL East and are close behind. 2 consecutive losses reduce the gap between the teams to only 2 games. That is particularly important in the postseason seeding race. Division champions are seeded from 1 through 3 based on record. However, the 3rd seed still has to play in the wild card series, while the top 2 teams receive a much more favorable schedule. With the goal of making a deep postseason run and competing for a championship, the Dodgers clearly want to maintain at least the number 2 position. That is why losing consecutive close games to the Braves is especially concerning. The Dodgers did not just lose games. They also allowed a direct competitor to significantly close the gap. During the final stretch of the regular season, just a few games can create a major difference in seeding and directly affect the postseason path. That makes the final game of the series particularly important. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is expected to take the ball for the Dodgers, while the Braves are set to use Ace Chris Sale. It should be a highly anticipated pitching matchup, and the Dodgers will be hoping Yamamoto can help them end their 2-game losing streak. After 2 painful defeats, the Dodgers need improvement from both the offense and the pitching staff. Ohtani continues to contribute significantly with his hitting and base running, but the Dodgers need to capitalize more effectively on scoring opportunities and stabilize the bullpen if they want to turn those advantages into victories. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with the biggest MLB fan you know.